today we are up at the Paradise Park Ranger Station at an elevation of about 10,000 feet. So we are way up here in the High Uintas. We're going to be taking the trail to Cliff Lake today. So come along for the ride and stay till the end to see a beautiful mountain lake with some spectacular scenery. Let's get going. I'll be tracking our trail on Onyx, and I'll leave a link in my description so that if you want to come do the same trail and check out Cliff Lake yourself, you can do it without any issues. This is not a very difficult trail, so you're not going to see any extreme rock crawling along the way, but it is a very scenic trail, and it's the perfect type of trail for someone who is trying to get into off-roading or maybe wants to take their vehicle off-road for the first time. Now, if you don't live nearby or have easy access to this trail, fear not. We are lucky enough to have national forests all across the US, and many of those national forests have Forest Service roads where you will encounter very similar conditions. So if, like I say, if you're someone that's trying to get into off-roading or maybe wants to get off-road for the first time, a Forest Service road is a great place to start. So check out your map, find the nearest national forest, and look at some of those Forest Service roads and go give them a shot. If you encounter something that's a little too difficult, you can always turn around and try a different road. Now, if you remember, the elevation at the ranger station was about 10,000 feet, and we are just slowly climbing. So this lake up here is going to be above that, and I believe closer to 11,000 feet. So definitely pretty high elevation, and even though it's the middle of summer, it's definitely a lot cooler up here. We're at 50 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and I imagine that'll drop a few more degrees as we continue to climb. So I'll check back in shortly. Every now and then you run into some bovine friends, and they'll generally just move off the trail for you if you ask nicely. All right, so I wanted to stop for a quick second and show you this. As you can see, this dead tree is hung up in some other trees here, and it's just something to be very aware of when you're up off-roading or even camping in the wilderness. Now, today we aren't gonna have an issue driving underneath this tree, but there are instances where if it's stormy or very windy, you wanna look out for any kind of deadfall that's hung up in any of the trees surrounding the trail, and just be cautious as you proceed along the path. All right, let's get back to the trail. Here's a good example of where some trees have fallen across the trail. Fortunately for us, somebody's already come through and cut them away, so we'll just keep on trucking. So we've just come across some rough grouse. These are a really cool bird. It's an upland game bird actually, and Genji in the back is keyed up because he wants to go flush it. But let me get you a shot of that and you can check it out too. I love coming up to the Uintas. This is one of my favorite areas in Utah. It really is a beautiful mountain range, and it's very unique. It's one of the few mountain ranges, in fact, it may be the only mountain range, fact check me below, that runs east to west, whereas most of the mountain ranges that you're familiar with run north to south. So it's neat geologically, but it's also just a spectacular area to come out and camp or four-wheel or hunt, whatever it is, however you like to recreate. This is a great area to do it. I will say, when you come up here, you want to make sure that you are prepared. So be sure that you have your first aid kit, make sure that you have tools, make sure that you have extra food and water, because it is a very remote area, and you can get back into some of these areas where you don't have reception, and you're not going to have reception for a while. So be sure that whenever you go out on the trail that you're always prepared and take more than you think you'll need. And with that, let's get back to the trail. So we're almost to the top of the trail, but I wanted to stop and show you this beautiful park. Now, up here in the Uintas, as you've seen, it's very densely forested, but you will often come across these beautiful, what we call parks, where it's a big open area. Oftentimes it holds a lot of moisture, maybe there's a spring, and if you're lucky, you'll get to see some elk or other wildlife in the area. All right, let's hit the trail. Making it just about there, guys. Check this view out. Once we get out of the Jeep, I'll give some panoramas as well. This is beautiful. So this is Cliff Lake right here in front of us. We are clear up in the High Uintas, and what a trail. I hope you guys had fun. I know that we did. We're gonna take a break, maybe have a beverage or two, and enjoy the view. All right, we'll see you next time on the trail. Have fun out there, be safe, and as always, please stay on the trails.
What are you making?
Oh boy, we are making some tacos, but not just any ordinary tacos. These are Yeehaw Utah Jeep and Jeff's elk tacos. So there's no better way to end the day than with one of these. It's basically just a regular taco, except I'm using some elk meat. I put some cheese on there, put some lettuce, fold it over, put some cheese on top, and then throw a little bit more meat on top with that. So it's definitely a carnivorous taco for sure. All right, we'll see you back out on the trail. There you have it, guys. The Yeehaw Utah Jeep and Jeff elk taco.